Oh, it was him screaming at me.
Why was he screaming at you?
You say bitch too much. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah. But you don't take anyone's advice. You hear it, and then you go back into the room, and you do the exact same thing you just got yelled at. Poundcake, you say bitch too much. Bitch, don't tell me I say bitch too much. You a bitch.
Oh, it's messed up in here, too?
Probably messed up everywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
I'm hungry.
We will return to our regularly scheduled program momentarily. Please stay tuned.
I was reading about...
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
All I had was gummy worms today.
All you had was gummy worms. Why is that all you had?
Because
Getting ready to record a podcast.
That's what I had in my bag. Huh?
All right. Hold on. I had to finish my gummy worm.
Oh, I love that. I had to finish my gummy worm. Like it's a hamburger. It takes like a dozen bites, you know? You could eat a gummy worm in one shot. I had to finish my gummy worm.
I think I said worms.
You see
worms.
Joe Buck's leaving Fox and going to ESPN.
I saw that was being talked about. Is that him and Troy Aikman over there?
Yeah, so Troy Aikman already made the move. And Troy Aikman's deal is ridiculous.
Well, he's really good, right? He's like a valuable property for them. Yeah.
He's getting $95 million over, or $92.5 million over 5 years.
Good for him.
And
but Joe Buck must be getting crazy paid too.
Yeah, but not as much as I thought. Joe Buck would get more, but he's getting apparently 60 to 75 million over 5 years.
He has been at Fox for 30 years. I know there's people who hate Joe Buck because Joe Buck is one of these guys who, for some reason, no matter what team you root for, you think Joe Buck hates your team.
Yeah.
Which is very silly.
I think it's the funniest thing.
I like Joe Buck.
I don't mind him either, and I think
if
it's
you ever
so
see him in like interviews and stuff, he's very funny. He's very personable. He almost died from hair implants. That's a funny story too. He's got a hot young wife.
I think it's funny when like people are like, oh, he just loves the other team. Like he picks storylines and will call back to them often. So like when we were playing the Cubs in the World Series, he kept talking about Kyle Schwarber, and people would like, oh, he just loves that guy so much. And I was just like, it's his job. That's what he does.
So they're reuniting him and Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
They're
Okay. Basically keeping them together.
Gotcha.
But that's a lot of money.
Fox was paying Joe Buck $11 million a year. He had 1 year left in his contract, but Fox let him out of his deal, as they said, a good gesture for his years of service, which means we've been looking to replace you with somebody younger anyway who won't cost us $11. We're going to get somebody new who's on the come up, and we can pay them $2 million a year.
I wonder who that's going to be, though.
There's plenty of people. Probably a woman. They're trying to get, widen it out a little bit. Joe Buck's new deal is expected to be in the 5-year, $60 to $75 million range. Well, yeah, you're not going to leave for less money. Wow. Well, good for him.
Yeah, getting paid.
Yep.
Get that Joe Buck money. And he lives in Puerto Rico, I believe. So he'll fly to wherever they're doing the game.
He lives in Puerto Rico?
He lives something like that, because he was on an episode of the Manning cast, or whatever they call it, like Peyton and Eli doing their show on Monday Night Football, and he was broadcasting from somebody. He's like, this is my house, and I believe it was like Puerto Rico or something like that.
Oh, he probably has a house there.
Yeah, but I mean that's where he goes to spend the week, because he's all over the place. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go live in a place. You know, he's probably flying private, so he's got that kind of money. So you just go home and you zip
Puerto
back.
Rico, yeah.
Puerto Rico. We love Puerto Rico.
Having the money to be able to fly private whenever you need to fly.
Having your own plane.
Yeah. But like that's just, you live on a completely different lifestyle then.
You do. Like
it's so like Tom Segura was just in town and he flies in private, and like I was having dinner with his opener and some other people that work for him, and I'm like, oh, is Tom coming tonight? And they're like, no, Tom gets here 10 minutes before the show starts, because he flies
into Burke and drives over.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah, you just call somebody and you go, "Hey, fuel up the jet."
But I mean, he's
Wheels
earned
up
it.
in an
Yeah,
hour.
and it's
Yeah.
just like that's. Yeah, you don't got to go through security or anything like that. It's just a completely different experience. Have you ever done the private jet thing?
Me?
Yeah,
I've never even flown first class.
me either.
You don't even have any friends that flies private, Alan?
Why would I have friends who have private
Because
planes?
I do, and I think if I do, you should too.
It's because you hang out with like gay porn stars. And
No,
stuff.
not all.
Every time you talk about a friend, you go, "I have a friend who does gay porn.
No.
And they make a ton of money."
There was a guy I met back in I was like 18, just 18. There was a guy I met at Bounce when that was a thing. He is a financial advisor, and he told me, and I've seen pictures of the planes that his clients would send him. He said he had a client in Pittsburgh that he had to make a run for, and I'm like, how you gonna get to Pittsburgh? Like, he's like, oh, he needs me like tonight. I'm like, oh, you're gonna do the
Right.
private-
So they sent him a plane.
He sent his friend sent him his plane, and
Yeah, I don't have friends with private planes.
Oh, my
That's a
goodness.
guy working in finance.
yeah.
I mean, if he's lucky, it sounds like he's got some pretty high money clients.
Yeah.
No, I don't have friends with private planes. A, don't have that many friends. B, the ones I do, no. I mean,
Actually, Gwen has friends that have private jets.
I don't know. She and Joe Buck went to the same college.
I bet you she has friends. She just don't want to tell you to make you feel bad and broke. But I bet you she does.
Listen, it wouldn't make me feel bad. I would say if you have a friend with a private plane, I think by now I would have
I like
found
it
that
makes-
out. But
that's his thought process of like, oh, she's keeping it from you so you don't feel bad.
I wouldn't
and
feel
broke.
bad. Yeah,
I know.
feel broke.
Yeah, but that's because that's how he would feel.
You have a friend with a private plane, and you didn't tell me that. Could
By the way,
harass him?
why would not having a private plane make you feel broke? There's a long way between broke and private plane money, and you can rent a private plane. By the way,
I know it's not that expensive. It's like $30,000.
yeah, I'm fine flying commercial. I'm just not only that, I'm fine flying economy. I've never even purchased a first class ticket.
I have a friend that's a pilot for private planes.
Well, then why aren't you flying around the friendly skies? You have all these friends. You don't seem to avail yourself of their services very often.
Because I think I would.
You're like worried. This kid gets anxiety running to the terminal to get on a plane to friggin' Los Angeles or whatever. If you have friends with private planes, why are you even messing with all that stuff?
Because my friend told me that I would abuse that privilege. So he
Yes,
does,
you would.
He didn't
Abuse
want
what privilege? Flying private?
allowing me to be on his plane.
But how would you abuse that?
Because I would ask him and hit him up all the time.
And he would say no.
I know.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to have to do
Deal-
that.
he
because
doesn't
Oh,
then
he
Yeah,
knows
deal
you'd be
with it.
super
Yeah,
annoying
yeah.
about it.
Because he posts
Oh, I
pictures.
see.
He posts pictures on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that looks so fun! Next time when you go up in the air, hit me up." And he's like, "All my friends say that," and he was like, "But you mean it." That's what he says.
Yeah,
Takes
he's
so
call-
much pride in it too.
But he's calling you broke, too.
I am broke, and that's why he knows he can't give me that privilege because I would be the worst guest.
But why wouldn't you just act like you've been there before? Like,
Because I'm like,
just play it cool. If you want a repeat performance, or if you want to be asked back, just play it cool.
But I'm like,
Not like too cool, but I mean, just be nice. Just play it cool.
I'm beaming. I'm like, I'm in a private plane.
But what?
And the lady comes over.
Tell you what, I'm going to go down this road with you here, briefly, before I have to go to a break. You're screaming that you're on a private plane. Mm-hmm. Why?
Because it's private, it's exclusive,
But
and it's gifted to me.
right? But so you and a couple other people are on this
No,
plane.
just me.
Oh, just you.
Just me.
Oh, we're getting back to that scenario.
No.
Okay,
I
let's say it's just you on the plane.
have caviar and a mimosa.
Oh, you're adding all this other stuff.
But
Oh.
that comes with it. You don't
No,
just
private. There are plenty of people who fly private planes where there is not
no
caviar,
caviar.
and mimosas.
You don't get a stewardess or anything.
That cost extra. You get
That's a lot of money, especially if you're. Let's use the Tom Segura example. If he's flying from somewhere to Cleveland, he's not
in Austin now, so he's
There you go.
he's going back and forth to places, and it's just a 2.5 hour flight, pretty much anywhere in the country from Austin. So he's like, I want to be home with my kids. That's the goal. It's not about the extravagance of being able to like live it up on the plane, which is what Poundcake wants to do. he wants the
shortest route.
Yeah. To get back and have as normal lifestyle as he can.
Right. Yeah, like Seinfeld.
Yeah.
He's back in his own bed.
Right.
After the show. Does Christina still go out on the road?
Yeah.
Does she?
She doesn't go as much, but I think she just filmed a special and she's touring on that soon. She'll be at Hilarities, I think, in September.
Okay.
Something.
She hasn't been in here in a long time.
I know. Remember, she brought her dog in that one time.
Yeah.
Back when they had to do press.
Right, they don't have to anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Might be fun, though. Come on in. Let's chop it up.
Yeah.
Let me take a break. The Bill Squire Friday Get Down is almost here. That's how we know that the weekend is underway. So that's brought to you by Cleveland Whiskey. If you want to text for something, 35192, AlanCoxShow.com if you want to watch, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7